prophets of God in general history. This research begins with a historical question, which is where are the prophets of God in general history? When a question has gone unanswered for several ages, it means that something is wrong with the search. In which case we just have to create a new rule that helps us search for the answer. Everyone knows that the messengers sent by God, starting from the prophet Noah to Christ, have no quality in public history. So where are they? To answer this question you need to create a new rule for research. New search base. In the beginning, we will explain what are the rules of research and historical sources that will lead us to reveal the prophets and to know the secrets of religious history unknown to us. Everyone knows that the prophets mentioned in the heavenly books are still unknown to us, and that they are mentioned in the heavenly books only, and this is a point that raises that there is a mistake in time and space. In the beginning, we learn about religious history. Religious history has no time or place, meaning that it does not exist in archaeology, that is, it has no traces to prove its existence. We are not looking for one prophet, but we are looking for all prophets, starting from the prophet Noah to Christ, as well as the religious temples mentioned in the Torah and the Gospels. All do not exist in the whole Mediterranean basin. The first synagogues were built in the 3rd century AD. Definition of general history: it is a history that has a time and place and has proof from archaeology, the exact opposite of religious history. In this case, we must look for a new rule based not only on archaeology, but on several elements. For each of the prophets mentioned in the heavenly books on the candidate in the general history, meaning that if we are going to search for the prophet Moses in the general history, we must apply the events that happened to the prophet Moses mentioned in the religious books with the candidate in the general history, as well as all individuals associated with the prophet Moses, such as his brother Aaron, his sister Mary, and Pharaoh Moses. The second rule is atomic: if events coincide with him, we have to look for the family tree of this person regardless of his name, and whether it is identical to the same family tree mentioned in the heavenly books or not. An example of this is the prophet Moses is a descendant of the prophet Abraham, and if we look at those after him, we must find the prophet David and Solomon until we reach the Virgin Mary and the Messiah, meaning that the offspring matches the events together. The third rule is to describe the places mentioned in the Torah and the Gospels. If we look at the description of the cities mentioned in the Torah and the Gospels and apply them to the cities mentioned in Palestine or Israel, we will find it impossible to match them because the space does not accommodate the cities mentioned in the Torah and the Gospels. So that the books speak of a large continent with rivers, lakes, cities and peoples that exceed the number that currently exists 1,000 times. For example, the city of David mentioned in the Torah has a lake high and a lower lake. This description does not apply to Palestine. Just as Jerusalem, where Christ was before his crucifixion, there was a lake and a river in front of it, this also does not apply to the land of Palestine. So we will look for these cities according to the description written in the Torah and the Gospels. Fourth, if we apply what is mentioned earlier, we are looking for the people of the children of Israel. Did the people of these people have a large migration from Egypt or not, and do they have anything to do with Pharaoh and his drowning? We will now apply the new rule to the biggest personally in his history, in general history and in religious history as well: Alexander the Great and the prophet Solomon. Hesham Taher, researcher in the history of religion, //godsprophets.org/